But we're going to shift gears a little bit and bring the tone down. Over the last several days, veterans and activists have gathered outside the U.S. Capitol to protest what they call massive legislative injustice against millions of Americans. The PACT Act lost a procedural vote last week after several Senate Republicans suddenly changed sides. The bill would expand health care and disability benefits to veterans who were exposed to toxic burn pits in Iraq and Afghanistan. President Biden says he will sign the bill if it is approved. Former Daily Show host Jon Stewart has joined the demonstrations to support Senate passage of the PACT Act. Stewart is one of the bill's most vocal supporters, and we are thankful that he is joining us right now. Jon Stewart, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning. We're a little tired. We're a little hoarse for wear, but determined.
Determined, that's right. Now, you have spent a lot of time with these veterans who are suffering, and you know their personal stories. What do people need to know about this that they might not know?
They're real people. They're not heroes that we honor at halftime at the Super Bowl and with lapel pins. They're mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles, and they are struggling, and they served this country, and then the country unfortunately turned their back on them when they needed care after coming back. We always have trillions for war, but when it comes to the consequences of those wars, suddenly everybody's digging through the couch cushion. So this has to change just as a matter of principle, and this act goes a long way towards making this right. I mean, this act even helps Vietnam veterans. That's how behind the curve we are in terms of caring for those who fought for the country.
You know, Jon, it's Vlad. Help our audience understand. This bill initially passed with overwhelming bipartisan support back in June, but you've gotten into a tit-for-tat with several Republican senators, Ted Cruz, Pat Toomey, who have voted against it this second time around, and they're citing a number of reasons. Break down what they're saying and what your message is to them.
So it's kind of complex, as everything is down here, because, you know, Washington, D.C. is like Willy Wonka chocolate factory without any chocolate or candy. It's just all these bizarre rooms that bring no joy to anybody. The bill passed the House and it went to the Senate. They reformed a couple of things that needed some looking at, some things that would help the VA implement the bill in a more practical way that wouldn't cause any backlogs, that wouldn't cause difficulties with the new influx of patients and the specialization of the kind of treatment they need, right? So that got done in May. They posted it on congress.gov. That bill, which passed out of the Veterans Affairs Committee in the Senate by unanimous, all Republicans, all Democrats, went to the floor of the Senate June 16th. It passed 84-14. So it was ready to go to the president. The House flagged a technical issue in the bill. It's called a blue slip. It had to do with tax benefits if rural providers were given money by the VA to give veterans who don't have access to the larger facilities the same type of specialized care. That's all that changed. Nothing was added to the bill. It's the exact same bill. You can go on congress.gov. You can put them side to side. It's the exact same bill. One sentence removed about taxation for rural providers. That bill went back. Oh, and by the way, it gained 90 more votes in the House, Republicans. 90 more Republicans then signed on in the House. Goes back to the Senate. You think it's a rubber stamp vote. Everybody gathers to celebrate. 25 Republicans in the Senate switched their vote from yes to no when nothing had changed.
So, Jon, when you hear that, but you also, I'm sure, have heard Senator Pat Toomey talking about costs and being concerned about limits, entitlements, and having something set up in a way where Congress would have to continue to vote on this to give those benefits to veterans who deserve it. What do you think this is really about, and where do we go from here? What are you prepared to do if this doesn't pass?
Well, I mean, we've got veterans sleeping outside the Capitol waiting for this to go. Look, I'm calling on Majority Leader Schumer to put this bill on the floor today. Pat Toomey said he just wanted his amendment voted on. Well, they've offered him that vote. It's there for him. It's been offered, I think, along with another amendment. But down here, man, negotiating is, you watch this thing go down. We'll give you 2 amendments and a side agreement and a cloture to be named later. And they're in all these rooms and they're making all these things. Meanwhile, the real people who are suffering the effects of this are sleeping outside the Capitol. And so what I said is put it on the floor today. They're leaving for summer break. They're not going to be here. They don't work on Mondays. I said, put it on the floor on Monday. Well, they're not here. Put it on the floor Tuesday. Well, lunch is at 12, and they said it was going to rain, and, 3 members are made of sugar, and so they can't do that. And then what I said is like, hey, man, if this is a budgetary issue, don't you have oversight? Well, we do have that. So what are we waiting for? Can't you guys just say you'll have oversight later? Oh, yeah, no, we could do that. Everything down here is impossible, and of course they could do it. It's bizarre.
John, it is bizarre indeed. John, I know you're here to speak for the veterans and their families and what they're going through. But if you would indulge me, I would like to ask you a personal question, because I see you as a selfless man. Someone is using their voice for the voiceless. Why? Why are you doing it? You don't have to. You don't have. Why?
I feel indebted. And I feel, these are people, I've been in this community for about 20 years now, whether it be USO shows or the Warrior Games, which is an adaptive, rehabilitative, like Olympic type event, Achilles heel freedom team. I've gotten to know this community very well. I've gotten to know their stories very well. I've gotten to know the undue burden that this country places on military families. It's a very small percentage of the country. We ask them to sacrifice a great deal. Their housing is often in shambles. We've got military veterans, active duty, on food stamps with an $830 billion defense budget. Unconscionable. And I look at it as a bellwether. These are the people that we purport to uphold as the best of us. And we can't even do right by them. Yeah. So what chance do the rest of us have for any kind of equity, for any kind of fairness? If they can't get health care, if they go bankrupt from their cancers that were caused by their service, what the hell are the rest of us supposed to do?
John, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your passion in your fight. Right now,
thank
check
you,
the
sir.
weather.